Here we go. We are live. Scotty Braun and Todd Frazier in Cincinnati at BetMGM Sportsbook at the bank. Be here all week long. Todd, Father, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I feel like I'm back home again, baby.
You are.
Let's go.
You are.
It's nice to be back.
This is great. And you know what? We got a guest right from the jump. So Kratz is in his usual Kratz spot. And Kratz, why don't you make the introduction just like you always do for one of our faves here on FT? Go for it.
My little brother, the second best looking backup catcher of all time in Philly history. Just saying.
I have way too much hair for us to be brothers, brother.
That's true, brother.
Wait a minute. No. That's not true at all.
Yep.
That's not true at all, because look at your brother, who is a catcher for the Houston Astros, and look at you.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, so
6'3", 220 versus 4'9", 102 pounds.
You are 5'10" of chiseled rock. They just didn't have enough of whatever you're made of to make you any taller. That's it.
Yeah, something like that. By the way, good new song intro. Wanted to start getting the.
You thought you were at the Jersey Shore. I get it.
Yeah, the fist bump. Did you have something to do with that, Frage?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
No.
We own that song. That's an original. You know
wow.
that? Yeah,
no, I didn't know that.
It's an original. It's not licensed.
Nice.
It's real ownership. So just for you, Garrett, how's life, man? I mean, cool to see last night Ranger go the distance, right?
Yeah, you don't see that pretty much ever anymore. So to watch Ranger, I mean, every time he goes out there, it's always fun to watch him pitch. 5 pitches, throws them all for strikes, different counts. So for him to go out there and throw a complete game, obviously a surprise to anybody in the game now to go 9 innings, go the distance. But it's always fun to go watch Ranger do his thing.
I watched that John live. What was Topper really doing? Because they kept showing Topper like he's coming out of the dugout at 110 pitches. What's he really doing down there? Because I know you're right behind him going, "Hey Topper, if you need me to pinch hit, I'm ready to go, okay? I know JT's going to pitch." But what is he really doing? Is he kind of stewing? Are they sitting there like, should we go? No, Caleb Cotham, he's not saying much. What's going on?
Yeah, he's a pretty calm presence in the dugout, which is what you need out of a manager. Knowing that your guy at the helm has got a slow heartbeat. Obviously, we had a 5-run lead there. I did glance over a couple times, and I think I don't remember who was hitting, but the second out, they were obviously hoping for a double play there. Ends up punching him out, and I think that was going to be his last hitter. And as soon as he punched him out, I saw Topper look over at Koth, and I think he told him, "All right, give him one more." And he ends up getting the ground ball back to him for the final out. And when Ranger fields that ground ball, I don't know if there's video of it, but right when he fields the ground ball, he catches it, kind of glances over at our dugout and gives a smirk, and then throws it over to first. It was awesome.
That was what I was going to ask you. You led me right into it. At some point in Ranger's career, I'm not saying it's going to be this year, if Ranger fields the ball the way he does, for whoever's not a Phillies fan, Ranger Suarez is the smoothest fielding pitcher in the game. And I don't even mean like smooth, like he just makes all the plays. I mean, it is suave. Like it is better than mid, whatever you want to say. When he finally throws a ball away, because every time he fires it, it is mid-chest, right on Bryce's broad 52-inch shoulders. Are you guys going to get pissed at him? Because there it is. There's the end of the game. Nolan Jones, weak grounder back to him. Yep. And he always takes his time. Are you guys going to get pissed at him, or you're going to be like, I told you.
No. I mean, a Ranger's an athlete, and I think it's kind of what makes him so good, right? He's got that slow heartbeat. I know Harp talked about it last night in his post-game interview. He's just always so calm out there, and whether it's the World Series or a game in April, he's got that same presence to him. And I think the little bit of swagger when he fields the ground ball. There was a ground ball earlier in the game that he went to go catch and kind of booted it a little bit for a double play ball. And you could tell he was mad, and it had nothing to do with him being, Mr. Suave out there. But he still did the same thing, ever so calmly picks it up and just throws it over to first. He should have won a Gold Glove, in my opinion, in 22. I know he was short by like,
Two
I don't
innings.
know, how many innings?
2 innings. Is he an inning
2
and a
innings.
third or 2 innings or 2
Yeah.
innings? I'm not sure.
And I mean, he was blowing the field away by a long shot in all those, peripheral numbers. But he'll get one at some point. I mean, the guy's too good. He does a lot of help for himself out there in our squad, not only pitching but on the defensive side too.
Well, can I make an argument here? So you need to qualify. Is that what it is for innings to be able to get the Gold Glove? Okay. So do you need to qualify for innings to get the Cy Young? No. So why would that matter? I feel like that's archaic. Something that we might need to fix right here. We might need to call it out.
Yep. I don't make the rules. I just work here.
That's fair. Well, we can help tweak the rules, at least to make it a thing.
Make that push.
Okay. Done.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Agreed.
2 innings short, like in this day and age, who cares? It's about quality. If he's the best fielder out there and he's 2 innings short of qualifying, you can win the Cy.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I want to go. You got to have innings to get those big numbers. So he had them blown away. So
agreed.
Done.
From one to the next, these City Connect jerseys, man. What do you think about these? I don't know what to think, to be honest with you. The blue coloring, the light blue, little yellow in there. Talk to us about it a little bit. What do you think about them and what they kind of signify?
Yeah, well, okay, so when I heard the story behind each part of the jersey, right, they got the blue collar for the blue collar city. They got the love symbol on there for the love sign out here in Philly. I think that they did a good job of telling a story with the jersey. I think it's cool what they tried to bring in from around the city to each little part of the jersey. As far as the look goes, I think we look like a very sexy men's beer league softball team. And emphasis on the very sexy. But the colors were a little off for me. I think and I hope that they grow on us and the rest of the city throughout the year, because at the end of the day, we are going to be wearing them however often. So, like I said, I like the story behind each part of the jersey. I think the colors were a little off for me. I was kind of hoping for a full-on Fanatics costume out there. I think that could have been really cool. But they went this route, and I hope they end up growing on us and the rest of the city. So that's what I got.
And I think that's a great idea. Just thinking about having that lime green and putting his nose. Oh my God! I think next year that's
right,
something.
Center cut.
Oh God, I think that'd be sight. You know how many jerseys you sell on those? I'll be honest with you, you break the bank.
You've seen Bryce with what does he have? The cleats, the batting gloves, maybe, right?
No,
he's got all of it. He's got the mitt. He's got the gloves. He's got the cleats. He's got the headband. Yeah, he's got the whole thing working for the Fanatic.
I'm surprised he didn't get that push.
They don't really ask the players. It's like, hey, this is what it's going to be.
They come to them at the end, like, hey, like this because
what do you think?
It's already in production. So say yes.
They're like, we are the professionals. We will let you know what the jersey looks like.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. But what if I told you the colors, the yellow and the blue, were the city flag colors? Does that change it at all? Like, not many people know what a city flag is.
Yeah, it's 2024. If you ask any kid at UPenn, Penn State, who grew up in Philadelphia, I got to imagine it's a small population that knows what the flag even looks like, or if those are the colors. So yeah, I mean, I had heard and knew that was where they got those colors from. Doesn't do it for me all that much as far as the color scheme goes.
Okay,
Agreed.
but the colors equal a lot of swag and drip. I know you're a once every 7 day guy. Do you have some swag that you're going to be able to mix with it when you do get out there on a City Connect night?
Dude, I'm a no swag is my swag kind of guy.
No. You have to have a little bit.
I got nothing, dude. I go out there. I mean, I had to borrow cleats on the City Connect night because I had red cleats that I wear freaking every night. And I'm like, okay, if there's one time where I cannot look like a complete idiot, it's with these red cleats and these blue and borderline black uniforms out there. So I ended up having to borrow cleats and strap those on.
Epic.
And there's not many
Hang with it.
people with the size 9.5 foot. Not very many people, but my man
Oh
Whit
my
Merrifield came
God.
in clutch.
No way.
Came in
Nine and a
clutch.
Whit.
half.
2-hit Whit.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whit's got 9.5 foot.
Speedy guys, man. And
Speedy
handsome.
guys. Come on. Well, that actually is bringing me to my next point, because we had Whit on the other day, and he was like, I was like, who's somebody that you're like, because I know Whit likes to get on some people, and he was like thinking about it. He's like bouncing around the locker room. He goes, Stubbsy, I feel like maybe, I don't know. Like, I feel like, so is Whit bullying you?
Whit could try to bully me every single day in the locker room. It ain't happening. Me and Whit go back and forth all day long. We're actually going golf. We have an off day tomorrow. We're going golfing together. Him and I have good back and forth. It's fun. He's a great addition to the squad.
So great dude, part of the FT
Yeah.
fam. He was on here, and he got his number when he came over. Now, I want you to grade this, and I want you to give him a hard time, because this is the present that he gave Bobby Dickerson. What do you think?
Well, which one's the present? Is it the watch or the Codigo, or what kind of watch is that?
That watch was from, I forget who he said. Was it from Manny Machado or was it from Castellanos? But Dusty sent me this picture because Whit came on and he was like, oh, Bobby changes his number every year to figure out who's coming in. So he's got but these are the only two gifts. Bobby's like, dude, I have gotten two gifts in my life, and here's the bottle of whiskey with the little number 9 on it, a little Codillo. Is it whiskey or is it tequila?
I got Whit being rich enough to get a better gift than that.
Yeah,
So-
agreed.
Right?
So that's what I'm saying. He customized the bottle.
I hope he walks in right now.
Yeah, you need to kind of keep him, make sure he knows. Make sure he knows.
Kratzy, send me this picture. I'm gonna show him this later today, and ask him. Door open. I was hoping it was him. I'm gonna show him this picture. We gotta fix that. Dickie needs a better present than that, especially because he's gonna be his defensive coach all year long too. That's like you gotta 2-time it.
Yeah,
I got to see what that watch is. We got to figure out what kind of watch it was, because
I'll check Dusty. Dusty sent me the picture, so I'll send it.
It's the Happy Meal watch.
That watch, I got to find out who the watch is from. That's my business.
Okay.
I should have had.
I feel like Bobby's covering it up because he didn't want to embarrass him. Like he's not.
No, I think it's a roll. It's Rolly.
Okay. All right.
See, I'm not even in that realm to be able to recognize a Rolex. That's where I'm at.
Kratzy's got big bucks now. Watch out.
Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt.
Half the Phillies do, though. I mean, we haven't had Jan since Wheeler got the extension, but between him and Nola now locked in for a long time, obviously there's plenty of position players that are locked in for the long term. How nice is it to have the core that kind of continues? You know how it is in Major League Baseball. I mean, half the teams nowadays have so much turnover that even if they're successful, will be, I remember doing like a playoff game and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, they were in the ALCS 2 years ago and there's only 4 guys left from that team, and the Phillies are basically the opposite of that these days, which in my mind helps market the team to the city as well. If you've got studs, keep them there, and then the city kind of galvanizes behind them and they know everyone's name, right?
Yeah. And I, outside of that, the marketing part of and business side of things, we love it, right? Like we've had a really good group here the last 3 years. We love being around each other. And I think on that front, we end up coming in, being comfortable. JT and I have been with pretty much the same staff or very close to it the last 3 years. You get to know guys, how they pitch, and you end up figuring out ways to make them better, us better. So we're all really comfortable with each other. We all enjoy each other, right? I mean, you guys have been in those locker rooms for however many days it is. It's 162 games over 180 days or whatever it is. You're around each other every single day. So, we like and enjoy being around each other, which is a huge part of our success. Because there's, you get into those July, August days and things start to drag a little bit. If you're walking in that locker room and not enjoying the people that you're about to see for the next foreseeable future, it doesn't make every day very fun. But we love walking into our locker room and hanging out with the boys.
That's nice. So I heard off season you got engaged, man. Now, how do you feel? Is there you got a little pep in your step now, or is it something like a relief, or every day now is I could say wifey soon to be, is she on your ass a little bit more? What's the difference now as you're a player?
It was a smooth transition as far as going from girlfriend to fiance.
Sugar, man. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was a long time coming. We actually met in high school. We didn't start dating until 4 years ago. But
oh wow,
yeah, we're really excited. We're doing it in Mexico. We got engaged in Mexico, and then we're doing our wedding down there in Cabo San Lucas. So it should be a fun one. We're excited.
Am I invited?
It's been really nice.
Checking my phone. Am I invited?
No, you're not. You're definitely not
That's
invited.
Weird.
Dude.
Kratzy, I must have sent one digit off. I got to go check back on the list and see if
I got
messed
it.
up the
I got
address.
it. Thank you, man. I got it.
Okay, good, Frazier. I'm glad you got yours.
Appreciate
it.
it.
1 digit off. That's fine.
You got
That's
yours,
fine.
Right?
My wife got the text then. That's fine.
Yeah,
okay, good.
Yeah, I got mine, and also I got an alert. Like the whole place here got texts.
No doubt.
The whole country, Mexico got the whole.
Kratzy, I'll get
back
to you.
It's gonna be a national holiday. Right? Yeah.
That's fine.
Kratz, you must have changed a digit on your
congratulations,
on your cell or
brother.
something
That's
like
awesome,
that.
Though.
Yeah, we're
love
excited.
that,
It'll
dude.
be fun.
Congrats. Hey, I want to ask you one global question about the game because it's come up a lot, and you're a catcher. So where do you think we're at with pitching? I mean this on two fronts. One is how ridiculous pitches are looking these days in terms of velocity, spin, etc. And if you have to pick one thing as the number one reason why dudes keep going down with long-term injuries, what would you say that is? Because obviously there's probably 5 to 7 reasons why there's a problem. But we had Alex Wood on yesterday, and he was like, let's not sleep on guys that just don't stop throwing all season and off season long as hard as they can, and how much of a problem that is in his mind.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to put your finger on just one exact thing. If I were to pick, there would be 2 reasons, but I'll pick one. And I think it's exactly that. I think that you go out and you watch guys pitch nowadays, and they are throwing the ball as hard as they can every single pitch. And if you go back just I don't know, not that long ago, 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, it really didn't seem that way. Guys were going out there and trying to put the ball in a certain place where they knew a hitter had a weakness, and spin the ball in a certain place where they knew a hitter had a weakness. And now it really feels, when we see it with our staff, and we have success with it. So I don't blame guys for going out there and trying to perform at that high level, just ripping everything as hard as you can every single time, because it works. But I think that a big caveat is that there's a bigger risk of injury. When you're going out there and putting that much exertion on your arm for so many pitches over a 162 game season, you're bound to start to feel it. And I think that unfortunately, we've seen that around the game. Guys starting to have that high exertion on every single pitch kind of catch up to them. And so I think that is a huge reason. If I were to pick one, I think that's probably what I would put my finger on. But like I said, I don't blame guys for going out there and doing it. It's been working. It's what guys get paid to do. You see 100 guy go out there and throw 100, and I'm sure every GM's eyes light up. They're like, I want that guy. So I know why guys are doing it. And on the other point would be, I think the pitch clock does have something to do with it. But I'll keep it at the high velocity, throwing as hard as you can every pitch part.
Okay. All right. That's good. Now I want to go on the opposite side of this. And as a catcher, what do you have to change? Seeing the speed, seeing the different movements from left to right, right to left, top to bottom as you go. As a catcher, is there certain drills you got to do next? You got to be prepared, knowing that the ball might move one way or another because of the speed of the ball, the wind you got to take into account in the stadium, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, JT and I see it a lot, right? When a guy's ripping things as hard as they can, you don't exactly get the same movement on a pitch every single time, which makes our job a little tougher. I think one of the big reasons why we see, and I know a lot of old school guys do not like the one knee down um, stance from catchers nowadays. But I think a big part of why, and I know it's a big part of why I do it, is the velocity, and not to say that guys haven't been throwing this hard or never threw this hard before, but it really seems like there's more of these guys throwing this hard on every single team. Um, but the 93-mile-an-hour slider, you try to get on 2 feet and go down to block that, you're either going to have to cheat to make sure you're ready to go block that pitch, or you just get down on one knee and you be ready for it and try to stay in there as long as possible to frame the pitch and make it look good. And then, last minute, you can flip over and go ahead and block that thing. But I think that that's a big one for us is, kind of our stance and that adjustment. As far as calling pitches go, it's kind of crazy watching guys go out there and throw 100 and you look at the report and it's like 50% slider. You're like, what? This guy throws 100 and he's throwing slider half the time.
Yes.
But that's kind of the game plan. And like I said, it's been working. And so until it stops working, I don't think there's going to be much adjustment the other way.
I want to hear from an active player. I have my opinion on this. The injury part, you're talking about pitchers. Is there something you're willing to do that you're like, you know what, if this helps me stay in the big leagues, I understand the risk? How important is that you could understand the risk of getting hurt, but you know what, I'm willing to do this for my team and for my career?
Yeah, I think that our team is very focused on winning baseball games, and I know that that's not exactly the narrative in every single locker room around the league or every single front office and organization around the league. But we're lucky to have that narrative here in Philly, and I would bet on every 26 of these dudes in this locker room to put themselves at risk, but also know that the teammates next to them don't want them to put themselves at risk if it means a long-term injury or nobody ever wants anybody to get hurt around here. But you watch Harp the other day. Can't remember. Oh, we were playing Atlanta. It was opening day weekend, and Harp goes and takes a spill into the camera well. All of us gasp and don't want him to be doing that, but you see a guy like that go out there and put his body at risk to make a play. That's kind of the mentality we have in our locker room around every single guy that goes out there. So I don't think anybody's trying to put themselves at risk. Nobody wants the next person to put themselves at risk. But we're always trying to win a game. We're trying to get into October, and we're trying to be the last one standing in October too.
Love that, dude. Love that. Always awesome to have you on,
Yeah.
man. Appreciate it. This was super fun. Go ahead, Kratz. You can do the same thing. Say bye in your unique way.
Stubbsy, go get on the table because I know you're probably sore from all the things that you do.
Yep. I warmed up for 9 innings yesterday. Made sure Ranger was dialed in, locked in for those 9 innings. All right.
Okay.
The real MVP behind the
today's
shutout.
bicep day.
Exactly.
All right. Today's bicep day. I appreciate you giving us a lot of your time here, kid. Always appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys having me on. Can I get the music
Thank
on the
you.
way out too?
Yeah. Oh man, I wish. I wish.
All right, boys. See you.
Thank you, Garrett. Good to see you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Garrett Stubbs of the Philadelphia Phillies. He's the man. That was awesome. One of my favorite
Solid
interviews that
dude.
we
He's
do
the guy
here.
that I'd want to go out to the club with. Just
Yeah.
He'd be walking in like this.
He might give them, if he went to the club, like he's the kind of guy that would go the extra mile and like give them the FT theme song and be like, yo, I got something for you.
Let's go.
You got to stay till 1.
Play
I
that
got
track.
something for you.
Exactly.
Here, hook my phone up. I got a song. Spin this.
Exactly. All right, let's charge the damn mound. Let's go over some topics from last night and carry them into today. First off, I want to make sure that we give attention.
Charging the mound.
Can we give some attention to Michael Busch? The streak ended for him last night in a wild game. I was flying here and I got into the hotel room. It was the only game that was left on, and it was nonstop action, lots of offense, big comeback from Arizona late. Diamondbacks won the game, but first off, Michael Busch doesn't have a shot at playing time with the Dodgers. They never really gave him a chance. On our Hot Sheet Baseball America show, we went over it yesterday, how within the BA world, all those scouting experts said, free Michael Busch. We can't get this guy playing time. Dodgers did a good thing. They trade him over to the Cubs. He just had a home run streak that ended last night. Homer in 5 consecutive games. He's got 6 on the year. He's been great. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is solid, man. For a guy that didn't get any playing time, all of a sudden comes off like this. I mean, it's just the younger dude. Absolutely phenomenal. And to see this type of performance from that type of player, a guy that's been waiting in the wings to play, I think it goes to show you the mindset he has. It goes to show you how clean he is of a person, how awesome he is as a dude. And he just kept fighting and kept working and kept trying to build. And for him to have this is a good stepping stone for him. And this is something that a lot of guys are going to remember. And watch out. There might be some more streaks like this with this young man coming through. So only good things coming for him.
How about the Dodgers doing a good thing for a guy who's 26 years old, 25? You know, he makes his debut at 25 after being a first rounder. You think about it and you're like, man, like, I'm not saying that that's old, but in a theory of like, okay, if he was still with the Dodgers, he could be back down in AAA. Now he's trying to find his way. 6 years, you're looking at a 32-year-old free agent, 31-year-old free agent. This way, they freed him up. They didn't get a lot for him, but it was something that they freed him up for some opportunities to play every day. He's taking it by storm. He's actually still a rookie. So if you want to adjust your rookie of the year voting, the guy's got a 187 OPS plus on the season so far.
He's 26.
I know.
And he was bopping in the minors. You're on the Dodgers. Actually, you know what? He should have been on the Dodgers this year because they actually needed more help this year at the bottom of their lineup, and that's why they called up Pages, who we'll get to in just a sec. But it's a great fit. I mean, and this is one of those underrated moves in the offseason. I was critical of the Cubs. I wanted to see a little bit more because I thought that they were starting to build a nice core, and they should be operating like a big market team. I wasn't saying, hey, they need to do better than Michael Busch. I wanted another starter in the rotation.
Yeah.
But you're seeing a team in my mind that can definitely grab the division. It's there in the NL Central. Obviously, we're in Cincinnati right now. The Reds have a shot, but they dealt with some injuries early on. You know, this dude can hit 35-plus homers for them.
And you say he's a rookie at 26. I was a rookie at 26.
That's
too.
why.
You
You're
know
the
what
perfect
I mean?
example here, man. You were marinating a little bit, and you were like, I'm ready.
Like, when is the time? What are we doing?
And you've explained this before, but part of it is, I mean, some dudes got to get out of your way. That's just how it works, right? There were some guys in front of you. Who was blocking you?
Scotty Rolls.
He's pretty good, right? He was a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. No,
but that's part of the problem. Remember Ryan Howard was blocked by Tomey for a little bit?
Exactly. And when you get out there, you just prosper. Let the wings fly and go to work. You know, not to be funny. This is something where it's a mindset too. The guy could play. He's always could play. But the mindset you got to have understanding, when's it my turn? When's it my turn? Well, now's it's your turn. It's time to go because you only have one chance at this thing, and he's taking full advantage of it. And that's the exciting part about this. And what a game yesterday. That was a phenomenal game to watch.
It was great. I mean,
it was.
Yeah, go ahead, Kratz.
No, I was just going to say the game earlier, the Rays and the Angels game, I was like, oh, man, game of the day for sure. That was a snoozer compared to your Diamondbacks game. Like, I mean, Diamondbacks Cubs, what on earth is going on? And the Rays and Angels game, it was like, oh yeah, ground ball double. No, it's not. We're playing 6-6 ball game here. Like, crazy go nuts.
The D-backs were down to a couple strikes. I mean, Grichuk with the leadoff walk-off hit in the bottom of the 10th, but there's 2 outs, bottom 9. Mr. Clutch Ketel Marte with the dinger off Alzolay.
That didn't even look like it was going either. The way he hit it, I'm like, gap. Bro, went over the fence. I'm like, this is crazy.
Just made it.
Yeah.
Remember they had to review it with
like
the fan.
kind of wiggled over there. Yeah, I got you.
Did you think
Alzolay?
I don't know.
You don't think it made it?
I mean, obviously they called it. I wasn't 100. I was less convinced of the one in Houston yesterday by Arcia. I know we're jumping around than I was of that one, but that one hit and like, I don't know if it hit like a table that was right behind the fence, the one in Arizona, but it was weird because it hit and like bounced to the right.
Yeah, made a ricochet, kind of a slight ricochet, yeah.
The one in Houston was weird, though. The one in Houston, I didn't think was a homer.
Yeah, that was strange, too. Did you know Mookie Betts was 5 for 5 yesterday?
I did.
Sorry.
We can go right to that game.
I don't mean because I'm going to toot my own horn, but go ahead. I'll wait. You want me to go?
You know what? Let's go right to it. Pages makes his debut, knock on his first pitch that he sees in the big leagues. But, yeah, Mookie had a casual 5-hit night, third of his career. Did you call it or something?
Oh, that's my MVP, man.
That is your MVP.
I mean, listen, when I found out they're going to put him in the leadoff spot for good with the lineup they had, all he has to do is get on base. And when he does get on base, he does damage. And this is a big year for him just because he's not batting 3, 4, 5. He's the leadoff guy they want on, but he's also going to get his homers. He's also going to get his run scores. He's going to get his stolen bases. Now he's in the infield, and he's the guy. Like, let's go. He's doing tutorials about how to field at second base. Like, this is the exciting part about it. For him to be 5 and 5, went 5 for 5 yesterday, he's the straw that stirs the drink. And guess what? Keep on sipping on that thing, baby, because I'm sipping with him. All right.
Now he's got a little more help towards the bottom of the lineup. Here's your boy Pages.
Look at that. Bleeder. Perfect. How about this one?
And they were like, this is exactly what you, obviously the bleeder, whatever he was fighting on that one, but this is how you want to hit. Like literally gap to gap. And the next double goes to right center. Oh. And he's just scooting.
He's want to move over to left, I'll go to right.
Yeah. And through the hole.
Oof.
Two strikes. Two strike hits in the 5.
That's what you call, in baseball terms, living right, baby.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys remember when you make your first your MLB debut, your first plate appearance? You guys remember if you took the first pitch or not?
No, I swung and my bat went flying in the stands.
First pitch. That was first pitch on that?
I think it was the first pitch.
Wow.
I'm not 100 on that, though.
First pitch. Yeah.
I was embarrassed. Very much so.
That's how you kind of announce your presence.
I did. And Scott Rowland comes to me afterwards and gave me, hey, listen, you go down the Guinness Book of Records, first guy to ever throw his bat in the stands and his first ever swing in the big league.
He's like, yo, this isn't The Sopranos. This is baseball. You don't have to throw your bat.
That was great.
What about you, Kratz? I asked because, Pages goes up there. He's swinging right off the jump, little slicer to right. I love it. And could be a big addition for this team. He's 23 years old. They need help towards the second half of the lineup there. First pitch, I think for some guys of their big league career, they're like, I just want to see it. I want to feel it for a sec, take a deep breath.
Nope. I wanted to hit a dinger. And Bud Norris threw a ball right down the middle, and I hit the highest pop-up I ever hit in the big leagues. That was my peak pop-up ever to the third baseman. It just went straight up in the air, and it was like, I'm so glad I didn't have to stand in the box any longer.
Like a lonely snowflake.
All right, so this kid might be up here to stay, though. We talked about him a little bit yesterday. I mean, he might be one of the better rookies that we see in the bigs. He was ready, He was ready to come up for this team. And you worry about some Dodger prospects, and two things. One, are they going to have the playing time? This relates to Michael Busch. And two, how long of a leash do they have to succeed before the Dodgers say, hey, we got to win a division here, so we just don't have time for rookie struggles. And Miguel Vargas went through that last year with the Dodgers. I mean, he was their big bat coming up. They were excited to have him. They were going through like a mini youth movement where they were going to try and play some youngsters. And Vargas did not play that well. I think he got hurt at one point too, but he wasn't what they thought he was going to be right from the jump. And actually, he's tight with Pages. Jose Abreu gave a bat to Vargas. Vargas gave a bat to Pages, and that's the bat that he used for his first knock. So all in the fam there.
The Cubanos.
That's right.
You mean last year? Do you mean last year in the Dodgers rebuild?
What do you mean? Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what it was, right? 100-win season rebuild. It's funny, though, Kratz, we joke about it, but you remember when we got to the playoffs last year, the FT fam that would hit us on social was, the Dodgers fans who are now watching Dodgers territory every week. Yeah. They were like, yeah, it was nice to get the 100-win season, but We don't really feel like we have a chance in the playoffs, so it's all good. This is just a little rebuild for us. Like, you won 100 games. And, hey, they were right. They got smoked by the Diamondbacks, but it's just funny how that's a down year in LA these days.
They're a juggernaut when you call up your third prospect to a team that's supposed to win 100 games and World Series favorites, and you call up your number 3 prospect and he's in the top 100 and he's put up 30 home run seasons in the minor leagues. Like, some guys, he's got potential to hit 30 homers. This dude has done it. I don't care if he's done it at high A, double A, whatever it is. He has done it, and this is why they're a juggernaut. They bring up guys that are ready to go, and he's only 23, and he's been in the system for 6 years since he was 17. Like, they are a good team for a long time. Dodgers territory. Keep hitting subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. All right, want to get to some injuries here?
I
No.
hate this part.
No.
Quickie run? Okay, quickie run. We got to do it.
Injuries
suck.
They're putting that guy in the MRI machine backwards, and it bothers me every time. Like, I feel like they're putting him in like a morgue. Because you go in feet first, and then you sit in there with your head, and they're putting him in head first. It makes me feel like the guy's dead.
I've went in head first a bunch of times.
Really?
Panic attacks central, bro.
Oh, no
I'm
chance.
in there like this. I'm screaming.
I've gone in head first too.
Yeah,
so
no.
what are you talking
Kratz,
about?
he doesn't know how to slide,
Yeah.
so he's a feet first.
I had
guy.
to go in when I hit my head. I went in this way.
That's a cat
I
scan.
went in the right way.
That's a
No,
cat
they
scan.
do it. Just let him go. He's got to be right. You're right.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. I actually don't know, so you're right. You're all right.
That makes me
Anyway. Let's start with Seiya Suzuki, just because we were talking about the Cubs a minute ago. This is a big loss. Oblique strain. He had an oblique issue last year, and he missed like 6 weeks. Dude was off to a hot start for Chicago. That's why I'm saying, like, there's parts of the Cubs that I like. They actually have a pretty highly ranked farm system. There'll be more on the way throughout this season, but Kyle Hendricks did not look good. Alzolay blew his third save. Now you're missing a top 3 bat in the lineup for likely a month.
Dude, I've had obliques at the end of my career. They're not fun. They're saying a month. Well, you're supposed to, from what a doctor told me, on a moderate. So they classified mine as a 1, 2, or 3. And for that, the problem was you got to wait 25 days. And I think knowing it's a month, then you got to rehab. Then you got to go to a place to rehab to hit baseballs and get ready. So we're looking at close to 40 days, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those things that if you sit there and you worry about your oblique pulling again, you're not ready. So that's what I always heard everybody, because I was fortunate. I never had an oblique, and it was something that when I watched guys who tried to come back, they're like, oh, I think it'll be fine. And they're nervous. It never worked out well. It was like, oh man, I'm nervous about this. I can't. And the trainers are like, okay, you have to just slowly work into it. The last swing that you were healthy, you felt it. So you think on the very first swing, it's going to hurt again. If you feel it at all, take your time. 1 month is a long time. 3 months is a really long time. So don't make it 3 months.
Because I've had it not once, but 3 times actually. So it's one of those where you have to be 100% to come back. And then the first time you swing in a real game, you're like, here we go. Boom. And it's just, all right, it's a relief when you could swing and you don't feel it. So make sure you're 100% healthy. That's all I'm going to tell this guy.
You know what's easier to deal with is just a casual back situation. I'm joking, but for Christian Yelich, he goes on the shelf too for the Brew Crew. The Brewers' offense has been great so far this year, Kratz. We didn't have time, but I wanted to eventually get to Garrett Stubbs and the Phillies' offense, because I'm like, damn, Phillies look okay right now, and they're pitching their asses off, and they're not even hitting yet.
No.
The other end is what you're seeing from Milwaukee. They're pitching, they're hitting. They're surprising people so far to start, but Yelich was off to a sneaky great start. To me, Yelich is in that same camp as Trout, where some people are like, all right, overpaid, he's done. He's gotten hurt too much, all that. And I'm like, yo, he was off to a great start. Of course, now, dealing with a back issue, calling it a stiff back. And I don't think there's a definite timetable. I don't think it's going to be long, but he said he just needs some time to kind of figure out how long it'll be. But bummer for him.
He has dealt with this back thing. I don't know if it's the exact same spot, but a back issue since 2018. And I remember in 19, he came to spring training and he's like, yeah, I think I got some new things. You get on the foam roller, you do these like back release stuff. He was off to a 2018 start. MVP, almost won the Triple Crown in 18, and he was off to the almost identically same start. Like not like his triple slash line was a few points off. And you think about that in this lineup that nobody really knows, guys, and yet he's the guy that you're like, you know what, we'll keep pitching to him. Why the Reds keep pitching to him? I know you guys are in Cincinnati. Why the Reds keep pitching to this guy, I have no idea. He hit 2 cycles against them in 2018, and I think his 3rd cycle was against the Reds again. Like, he just had a 3-hit night the other night in Cincinnati. Then the next night he hit a bomb. Like, of course his back is tight. He's carrying the team. This is a big piece of this lineup that we were hating on them early in the year. Like, I just don't think they're a little short in this lineup. And yet they keep putting together really good at-bats, and they get contributions from every part of the lineup. From everyone knows Jackson Churio, but your leadoff man is your catcher. Like, what? Now that pushes this like lineup back. It pushes Jackson Churio back a slot. Then it pushes Yelly back a slot. You're just talking about a team that is figuring out ways to win, and they're putting good at bats together and banging. So they need Yelly back as soon as possible because they don't want to have this depth in the organization tested for too long. Good
call. Hey, another team that I think we need to give some more love to is the Tampa Bay Rays. So let's bring in our good friends. It's been a minute. Tricia Whitaker, Rays TV, joining us right now on FT Live for this 10-8 Tampa Bay Rays team. Of course, it's the AL East, so every team's above 500 besides the Red Sox, who are 9-9. It's a stacked division.
That's right, they are. Mm-hmm.
There you go. Tricia, how are you?
Yeah, and how is this don't be snippy about it. Don't be snippy.
Yeah. Well, also, let's remember. Let's remember.
Do you not remember last year me and Kratz arguing about that ridiculous run at the beginning of the season for the Rays, and Kratz said they weren't for real? I still am bitter.
I remember. It's okay. Don't be mad.
What was the number last year? 13-0?
Yeah, 13? Yeah. They're not 13-0 this year, that's for sure. But
yeah, so this is a terrible start for them. Actually, I take everything back. They're only 10-8 so far this year. So what is wrong with the Rays, Tricia?
Nothing. They're still above 500. They're just not 13-0. That's a ridiculous standard to set. It's their own fault for setting that standard last year. But yeah, nothing's wrong with them. I mean, I would say the bullpen's struggling a little bit right now, but last night the bullpen was good in terms of Jason Adams, so that's good. But yeah, nothing's wrong with them. It's just a slower start to the season for the Rays. There's a lot of injuries, and obviously there's some differences in the roster this year than last year, but nothing's wrong with them. They're chugging along, Scott.
They are chugging along, and I think a 500 team in the AL East is just waiting to get hot. So that's the opportunity that they have. My question to you, though, who are you more concerned about, Yandy or Randy?
That is kind of the golden question right now, right? Yandy seems to have gotten it going recently. Randy a little bit has gotten it going, but it's definitely been a problem to start the season for both Yandy Diaz and Randy Arozarena. When we were talking to Yandy the other day, he was like, it's just a timing thing for me. But you know that Yandy is such a good hitter that once he gets that timing down, he'll be fine. Like, I mean, we're talking about a guy last year who put up some ridiculous numbers. It's nothing to worry about. For Randy Arozarena, I'm not sure what the issue is, to be honest. We interviewed him the other day, and he said, listen, it's just the start of the season for me, and I'm going to get it going. We have seen Randy go through streaks where, 3 weeks at a time, maybe he disappears a little bit. But I think he'll get it together. I certainly hope he'll get it together for this lineup's sake. Randy's too much of a competitor not to get it together. He wears it on his face when he's on a rough streak. It really, really deeply bothers him. So I don't know. I think he'll get it together for Yandy. I think it's a timing thing for Randy. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll see.
So you bring up a bunch of names there, a bunch of good ball players. Who's the leader on this team? Who's the guy that, whether he's doing good or bad, he's going to keep everybody in line, that glue guy, that guy that, like, all right, well, I'm not really worried about him. He's taking care of the team. That we'll be just fine.
That's a good question, because that's kind of the golden question with the Rays. I would say Zach Eflin, but a lot of people are like, it has to be a position player, a guy who plays every single day. So I would say Zach Eflin, but in terms of like a position player that's a leader, Yandy Diaz very much leads by example. Obviously, right now, the numbers aren't coming for him. He leads by example, but he's a really quiet guy. He's not really a rah-rah guy. So it's pretty much by example for him. But, I mean, I'm going to have to go with Zach Eflin. I know the argument with the leader has to be an everyday player, but I think Eflin is definitely the leader in that clubhouse. Jose Caballero, I'm not going to go ahead and say he's a leader, but he has been a glue guy for that clubhouse this year, I think. He's been so good to start the season. He's got an amazing personality. He connects with everybody on the team. He's bilingual, and he's been really good for them to start the season. So, I don't know. He might be a dark horse for a leader in the clubhouse this year. We'll see.
Yeah, he had the big 2-run triple yesterday. I know you pointed out, let's not sleep on what he did yesterday in that game for Tampa Bay. So I wanted to follow up on Caballero. I know this has now been, about 2 weeks since he and Genesis Cabrera had the nice little friendly hello to each other. I was talking to a couple people around the game, and they were like, look out for this guy. They said, he's feisty. When bench is clear, even aside from what you just saw, he's going to be the first guy in front of everyone. I started thinking, is this the next Sean Rodriguez for the Rays?
Heads up, coolers.
He is feisty. He's feisty on the bases. He's feisty at the plate. He's kind of feisty when you're talking to him, but it's always in good fun. I think that's an element that the Rays maybe were missing last year. They didn't have somebody like him. And I think he's going to be really good for the team. You mentioned that fight the other day that happened. That was not at all his fault. Let me be clear. And that's not just me being the team reporter. If you go back and look at it, it was not his fault. He was like, what the heck, man? Why are you pushing me? But he's been really good. Like I said, he's a glue guy for this clubhouse. He relates to everybody. He's bilingual, and he's so much fun to talk to. He's got an insane story too. He's had surgeries on every single extremity on his body, both of his hands and both of his legs. And it's just been insane what he's overcome in his career to get to this point. He just made his major league debut last year around this time. So we're just now seeing what Jose Caballero can do. And I think he's going to be really good at shortstop for the Rays for the rest of the season. I don't think it's just a hot start. I think this is the player that he's going to be.
Take us to the at-bat with Jason Adam and the reigning best player in the game, Mike Trout. Does this on a time when the Rays bullpen hasn't been the Rays' top standard bullpen that they usually are, is this something that could kind of, when a veteran Ray, who's been there for almost seasons, could that propel this bullpen to like, hey, we're going to get behind Jason Adam. We're going to get behind him because he just battled a dude that is the stud in this lineup and got him out.
Did you just say almost seasons as a shot at the Rays?
Yes.
And their ever-changing roster?
He's almost getting tenure. I don't know what tenure actually is for a Rays pitcher, but it's either on without being on the IL or traded or sent back to Durham.
You know what? I can't even argue with you. You're correct.
Thank you.
He has Rays for almost seasons. He's coming off a couple career seasons for himself, and he looked amazing last night. And you're right, the Rays bullpen, Eric Neander, the Rays president of baseball operations, said at the beginning of the season that this bullpen has a chance to be the best bullpen they've ever had. These last few weeks have not gone well for them, and they will tell you that straight to your face. They're not going to sugarcoat it. But for Jason Adam to go out and do that last night, Eric, I think you're right. I think this bullpen feeds off each other, and especially against a guy like Mike Trout. It was just a clutch duel between he and Trout, getting him to pop out eventually in a bases loaded situation. Trout could have ended this game right then and there. He didn't, because Jason Adam was able to win that AB. And really, the top of the 11th is where the Rays won it yesterday, not just because of Jason Adam, but if you remember, Jose Siri, he made an unbelievable catch in that bases loaded situation off the center field wall. He made a grab, and Kevin Cash called it the play of the game. And had he not made that catch, the Rays would have lost that game, and it would have blown the game wide open. So Jason Adam, Jose Siri, I would say those are kind of the heroes of the walk-off win last night for the Rays. But Erik, to get back to your point, yes, I think a performance like that for this bullpen, the stable as they're so fondly referred to, can be good for them moving forward. Because you do look at the guys on the roster for the bullpen, you're like, how are the numbers this bad to start the season? You know that they're going to get it together because they're too good not to. It's just been one of those uncharacteristic starts.
Can I give you my opinion and you tell me if I'm completely wrong?
You know I love to tell you when you're wrong, so yes, please do.
Where are all these walks from their bullpen coming from? Their bullpen has more walks than their starting pitchers. I know the starting pitchers don't go very long, but where are all these walks coming from? Is it a change in a mindset? Is it just like, it's 3 weeks of the season? What is your opinion on this?
I don't know. And if I knew, then they should probably hire me with the nerd herd in the front office. That's how uncharacteristic it is, because you're looking at this and you're like, what in the world? We never see these guys walk as many batters as they're walking right now. And it is kind of bizarre. And I use the word bizarre because I do go back to the point I made earlier. This group of guys, when you look at that roster, they are too good to not get it together. I don't know what it is. And that's why I say that Jason Adam, having the performance that he did yesterday, maybe can help propel them, because it's just one of those things where, and those guys always say we feed off each other because they're all so close down there. And maybe that's what it is. Pete Fairbanks, he has had a very uncharacteristic start to the season. You look at what he's done and you're like, that cannot be Pete's line. But we've asked Kevin Cash that question so many times the last few weeks, and he's like, there's literally nothing that I'm going to tell them to do that's going to fix the problem. He's like, at this point, it is literally just supporting them. And there's nothing for them necessarily to specifically work on. It's just supporting them through this weird stretch.
How do you get away with not getting Gatorade on yourself all the time after games, after these walk-offs? Can you explain what your method to this madness is? Because not a lot of, people on the field can figure this out. So you're going to have to get this method out so other people can find a way to handle this. Let
me tell you something right now. There are some reporters who purposefully step into it, right? I think we might have also done that. They'll step into it because they know that picture and that moment's going to go all over the place and it's going to be all over promos and stuff. My goal, and here I'm saying this, oh my gosh, I'm saying this in like next week. They're going to totally target me. But there was a time in 2019, Tommy Pham hit a walk-off. It was also the same interview that he said that he wanted to literally kill the opposing pitcher on live television, but that's another story. G-Man Choi. No, it's hilarious. If you have time, go back and watch the interview. I love Tommy Pham. But G-Man Choi literally targeted me, only me specifically, because he thought it would be funny. Took the whole Gatorade tub and dumped it straight over my head. And I'm telling you, like, there was ice in my eyes. So from that point forward, I mastered kind of that like jab step where you're like, yep, there it is. But that's not even the best one, right? There was one with Taylor Walls last year where, I mean, they were targeting me and I just, I covered the NFL for 7 years. Don't think I don't know how to do that. But it's just kind of keeping one eye on the interview and then one eye in the corner, like just looking over the shoulder of the guy that you're interviewing. And then when you see him coming, you just back up. And then you got to keep with the interview, right? You can't desert that. So I'm just kind of like, keep talking. And then it's like a slow back away. But I take pride in that.
Yeah. The head on the swivel routine. I like it.
I can attest to this. I can attest to this. In 19, I saw early because there's nobody out in the stadium. I saw Tricia out with the ladder, and she's doing a lot of ladder drills. And she's working on her jab step back while holding a microphone. So she's out here like this. She's out here like this with her.
And a notebook. I don't ever let my notebook out of my hands either. I'm constantly holding a notebook, a pencil, a microphone, and watching out of the corner of my eye, all while trying not to mess up my questions, because that would be even worse. And also, don't ruin the spray tan, and don't ruin the dress. Those are my 2 rules with Gatorade baths.
Oh,
That's the jab step. Yep. Mm-hmm.
How about the shoes? What you're wearing? I thought the shoes would be a big thing.
I don't care about shoes. I don't care about shoes. My shoes are like from Target anyways. I'm not a super uppity girl. Give me like my Target.
Hey, my shirt's from Target today. I forgot to bring shirts on the trip, so I had to go to Target.
Let's go. Exactly. Hey, Trish, I have an AL East question for you. So the Rays played the Jays to open up the year. They haven't played any AL East since. I think they have the Yankees coming up soon, if I can yes, they have the Yankees on the 19th weekend series. Do you like them not playing much of the division early on and saving those divisional battles once they've got a few games under their belt?
There's something to be said for that, for sure. But I actually would prefer if we played a few more AL East teams early on, because I think it's a really good measuring stick for this team. So this weekend in New York is going to be perhaps the best measuring stick so far this season, right? Because we know how good the Yankees are. And I do prefer to play divisional opponents more early on. But there's also nothing like those late season battles between like the Rays and the Orioles or whatever, like last season. Those were some good battles. But I would prefer, because I feel like I don't have a good feel of how they're going to do in the division yet, right? That Blue Jays series, I don't feel like gave me a good vibe on how they're going to do. So I would prefer to play divisional opponents more early on, and then some of these other opponents maybe middle of the season or later in the season. I've never really thought about that. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, just doing a little sketch check. And I know it's not the same, since last year where you have, what's the numbers? What's the difference now in terms of how many games you play each divisional
18
opponent?
To 13.
What changed?
Or
19 to 13, right?
19 to 13.
Because there was that one year where the Rays, that year really opened my eyes to like the fact that you shouldn't play your division that often. When the Rays went, 18-1 against the Orioles? It was 2021, I think.
Yes.
And that was just ridiculous. I was like, this is dumb. Like, let's play somebody else. Like, really? 19 games against the Orioles, 18-1? Like, put them out of their misery that season. So that was when it really opened my eyes. Like, let's not do that as much.
I agree. One of the best moves made in the last few years by the league was to spread the schedule out. I completely agree. If for nothing else but entertainment, I want to be able to see a variety of other teams against my team and in my ballpark. So it makes a ton of sense. It's something that we looked at for a long time, and we were like, damn, why don't I ever get to see, Trout in this ballpark, or Tani, or, go on and on, right? So I think they nailed it with that. Do you?
I do. And it makes the schedule way more fair, right? I mean, like, it's just like, I don't think some of these divisions that are like a little bit weaker and a little bit softer, if they're playing those teams 19 times, well, yeah, no kidding, they're going to have, a better record or whatever. And then you get to the playoffs and you see what they're really made of when they're playing other teams. But I love the new schedule, and also like sometimes from a personal standpoint, like going to these cities 3 times in one season, and then you see the same team 3 times back home. Those guys get so sick of each other, and like we've played the Angels twice in the last 2 weeks, and like I really like the Angels, but I'm already tired of them. I'm like, give us somebody else across the way. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Scott. I think they nailed the schedule.
Go ahead, Kratz. I know you've been working on this while we're chatting. Go ahead. I know you have something to show. Yeah, we found something. Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Shut up. Okay, that was a rough moment for me. Let me say something though. They have this thing now where they'll douse guys multiple times before he gets to the interview. So like they're throwing gum on him, they're throwing water on him, and then they get to the interview and I'm like, oh, we're in the clear. No, we're not. So that That was not a great moment. Why couldn't you have come up with the jab step I pulled off when Taylor Walls hit a walk-off? You had to pull that one out, didn't you?
We weren't quick enough to find that clip. Maybe next time.
We'll get a compilation of you, and we'll put it to like an and one mixtape tour, like music in the background, which is the Professor Tricia Whitaker. Oh, watch this one. See, you didn't even follow your own advice there. Your microphone's in here.
Though, I said that it was Target, but that shirt right there that was ruined, that was a $10 shirt from Amazon. This is why you don't buy expensive clothes. They'll get ruined.
That's fair. There's a washing machine, you know that?
Yeah.
Washing machines get Gatorade out.
No. They're never the same. And plus, when you buy cheap clothes like I do, because I'm just going to ruin them or I can't wear them multiple times anyways on TV because some jerk on Twitter will be like, oh, I wore that last week. They don't wash very well multiple times. So
that's fair.
People catch everything. So do ball players, though. We've talked about this. Ken Rosenthal says, like, if something's like a tick off with any wardrobe, you know, Ken says that, like, he'll show up to the park and they'll be like, oh, you know, what's up with the design on that bow tie? Or,
exactly.
Hey, did you get your haircut? Yeah.
On days that the Rays lose, I get told I can't wear that color anymore that week. So, like, I wore pink for, like, a few games where they lost. And I walk in the clubhouse the next day and the guys are, you will not be wearing pink. And I'm, like, laughing. But they're like, no, we're serious. You can't wear pink for the rest of the week. I'm like, you guys are nuts. Like, but it's
you got to be like, hey, play better, okay? Just play better. Go back to me. I never lose on my broadcast, but our broadcast wins every night.
Exactly.
Tell them
kind of.
Perfect.
Well, Tricia, awesome to see you as always. This was fun, and we'll get you down the line. All right.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Tricia Whitaker covers the Rays, also, of course, national games. You can catch her on the Apple Game of the Week, and give her a follow on Twitter for some of what we talked about there. Give her some love at Tricia Whitaker on Twitter and on Instagram. All right, yesterday's action. We got a former Met sitting next to me. Got to give him some love. I have a lot of family friends from home that are big Mets fans.
True.
And they're like, I'm not hearing enough Mets love on FT. And you know what? You're right. They started off 0-5. This is a team that's now above the 500 mark. And the one thing I did remind everyone, Kratz, was the fact that we pointed out the offense is pretty good. The dudes have been swinging the bats. It wasn't an offensive explosion yesterday for them, but timely hitting. The pitching has been a surprise so far to start. I will still caution that I'm concerned about the pitching depth for the entire season, but what do you think of this team having a Marlins start to the year and turning it around after week one?
It was not a Marlin. Okay. After week one.
It was. They were both
fine.
like over for the first 5-6 games, and the Marlins kept going like this, and the Mets went like that.
The Mets also had some rainouts too. They almost went a whole weekend without playing, and that offense never clicked, all that stuff. You knew the offense was going to do well. You didn't know that this pitching staff was going to do what they've done without Kodai Senga. So the same thing I say about the Mets every single time. I really liked the lineup a lot more than other guys did, and I didn't think they needed to add JD. But when JD comes back or gets to this lineup, it's going to be a really good lineup. And they're getting contributions in key situations. They're not banging a lot of runs, which is what I'm fearful of. Maybe it's not as good as I thought. But as Charlie Manuel says, water level's out. Alonso's going to have a month where he hits 12 homers. Lindor will hit his 280 with 100 and 100. He's going to have 100 stakes, 100 runs. Like you pen him in for that. You don't even pencil him in. So these guys are going to hit. If this rotation continues to do what they're going to do, they're going to take the over on amount of wins because the rotation, everybody's getting it all the way to Edwin Diaz, who is a dude they missed last year. And not saying they would have been a playoff team if they had him. Just saying that is going to be a problem for everybody in the AL East besides the Nats and the Marlins.
I'm looking at some numbers right now. I'm looking at Jeff McNeil batting .212. Brandon Nimmo 203, Lindor 145.
And that
Just
he's
to
got
na-
hot.
just to name a few of the biggest hitters they got, and they're still doing what they're doing. Kratzy, to your point, this team is looking pretty good considering what they're doing right now. Keep winning the games. I know they're playing the Pirates. Wait, Pirates are good again. Nope, my fault. No, I can't say that.
No, they're not.
No, I can't say that. They went on a hot streak in the beginning, right?
That last year.
I don't want to get yelled at by Pittsburgh.
Did you get yelled at? Last year they were 20-8. This year they are 11-7.
No, I know.
They're on pace to have a worse start than they did last year.
They're hot.
Fine.
No, listen.
Their peak would be 500 this year.
Starling Marte is just starting to get going. Like, listen, he just hit a 2-run homer just now. Like, the team has some guys, some dogs that can play. And they're all not 100%, meaning hitting-wise. But when they do, more numbers will pop up, more runs will be scored.
Is this a wild card contender?
Yes.
No.
Oh. Why so?
Proceed.
My one name that I'm going to put out there that I think when you have a team that's underperforming on offense, overperforming on pitching, based on our evaluations, our dumb evaluations.
Can I say who it is before you go?
Go ahead.
Keith Hernandez.
No, I was going to say Mendy, their new manager. Yes. I think he's added a fire to that dugout. Nothing against Buck. Nothing against what Buck did. This is not shade at him. This is a Mendy thing. And what he does, Carlos Mendoza brings to this team is a level of accountability, which I think everybody needs when you're struggling. When you're struggling, you don't need somebody to be like, hey, bro, you can do it. You know you're struggling. You don't need, as a big leaguer, you don't need that. You need the stable force. Kind of what Stubbsy said about Topper in the interview to start the show. He said he is a stable force, a calm presence who is always the same guy every situation. And I think that's what Mendy brings to these guys. And they've seemed to rally behind it. Now, it took him 6 games to get his first big league win, but they've rallied behind it while they're still not, as Todd just showed, they're not playing their best baseball yet. So that could be a problem. But they're not a playoff team because I don't think their pitching is strong enough without a guy like Severino having an elite year. Kodai Senga, whenever he comes back, absolutely dominating, which is tough to do when you come back from an injury, to just absolutely dominate.
Agreed. I do agree, though, with you. It is going to come down to pitching. 100%.
And do they have enough to be a wild card team?
Well, I think they will
if they
do something at the – I said yes. And I think on the trade deadline, if they could pick up a guy or two, I think that would help too as well, to solidify my answer.
Okay. And, yeah, let's see when Senga actually comes back, too, in what he looks like. But last year, he was a 1.
Yes.
He was a 1.
Yep.
I mean, especially after the first whatever it was, month or so, got the command in check a little bit. He was a 1. Deadly fork ball from him, the ghost fork.
It was.
And, I mean, he improved. He improved, though, as the year went on. He got settled like you would think a player coming from overseas does. He was a number 1 starter for the Mets. You're like, this team starts off the year with Verlander and Scherzer, and they end the year with number 2 voter for Rookie of the Year, and a guy who was someone I'd be comfortable with in Game 1 of a postseason series last year.
If he was throwing in New York, I am 100% for the first game of a postseason. I'm 100% throwing him out there. That fork was ghost fork,
without a doubt,
nasty in Citi Field. Just like, because it's kind of like a knuckleball. It's not a knuckleball, but it acts the same. Just like Dickey's knuckleball was way better in Citi Field. What it is, I don't know. The winds change, different directions. I don't know, but he was nasty in New York last year.
It's facts. Yeah, I think if I'm sizing up the NL East right now, this is the third best team. I think there was some debate about what they would look like. I think the Marlins really helped the cause here. If the Marlins had improved themselves in the offseason, didn't go through all the pitching injuries that they've experienced, I mean, look now, like you're picking up a few more dubs in the division for all those teams. Even the Nats are picking up a few more wins. Like we talked about hitting the over for the Nats anyway. I mean, Nats are, I think, potentially better than the Marlins this year. Now, the bread and butter of the Marlins was their starting staff. They don't have those guys right now. And actually, one of them who was really good, Max Meyer, if you backtrack to yesterday's show, just got sent down. So they're in rebuild mode. They're tanking now. So I think that helps the Mets. That probably gets them a few extra dubs. Seriously.
Agreed. No, agreed. I agree.
I'm saying a few things in jest, but I'm serious on that front. So props to the Mets. They're 9-8. That's a nice little early swing to say, nah, we're not a bottom feeder this year. So we'll see what that ends up looking like. We're going to talk NL Central again. Let's step aside for a quick sec.
Unified Healing is sponsoring this episode of Foul Territory. Unified Healing is an innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or EE System. This technology promotes wellness and deep relaxation, and there are hundreds of locations across the globe. Interested in experiencing the EE System technology for yourself? Go to unifydhealing.com/foul to learn more and find a center near you. That's UNIFYD healing.com/FOUL. No material or testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including EE System.
I saw Cubbies and the NL Central with Meghan Montemurro from the Chicago Tribune. Meghan, great to see you. I was looking, I'm like, have we not had Meghan on the show yet? Is this your FT Live debut?
It is, yep.
Awesome. Well, welcome. We've been looking forward to having you on to talk a little Cubbies ball. So how does this team look, and how was that roller coaster ride of a game to watch last night?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the last 2 years when they play here in Arizona, there's going to be crazy games, double extra inning games the first two nights, definitely depleted their pitching staff, so it'll be interesting to see how they get through today's game. But the team as a whole, I mean, for the injuries that they've dealt with, I mean, losing Justin Steele on opening day to a ham injury, that's going to keep him out at least a month. Jameson Taillon's been out this whole season. At this point, he's supposed to be back. It looks like tomorrow he'll make his season debut. And then Seiya Suzuki going down in Seattle with an oblique injury, and that's going to keep him out for roughly a month. So there's definitely been some hurdles here, and I think given the challenges that they face, that I think they're in a pretty good spot. It's been a challenging start to the season schedule-wise. They're about to wrap up today a 3-city West Coast trip. So I think they're where they want to be given some of the hurdles they've had early in the season.
Level of concern meter. I need to hear it on Kyle Hendricks.
I mean, if we're putting it on a scale of 1 to 10, I would put it at a 7 right now, in the sense that he doesn't seem to have a lot of answers of where the issues are. It seems like part of it is obviously mechanical. He talked last night after his start about how he tried to be less predictable with his pitches. And even then, when he made a mistake, they slugged it. And that's a big problem. He obviously historically he's always been a command guy. But right now, when he's not locating his stuff, those mistake pitches are just getting crushed. And so that margin for error is so slim for him right now. The problem is, I mean, they need innings right now, given Steele's down, Taillon's just coming back. They used all but 2 guys in the bullpen last night. And so, he's going to be going out there for his next start, and they need more from him. And he knows that. Craig Counsell knows that. And so it's definitely going to be something to watch, because they've had 2 guys step up with Justin Steele and Jameson Taillon out, and Javier Assad and Ben Braun. Both of them have pitched really well. And so they've made a case of why they should stay in the rotation. So, they need to get Kyle Hendricks back on track.
I know Cade Horton should come to this team at some point this season, but I still felt like they were 1 starter short. Like, that's what I wanted to see from them this offseason, to say, you know what, Cubs did well. Because obviously we talked about Michael Busch, and I'm sure we'll get to him in a moment. It's ironic that we have you on and the Diamondbacks end up signing Jordan Montgomery, and they felt like they were a starter short in terms of winning the World Series last year. So Monty's going to debut later this week. Did you ever hear anything from the Cubs about why they weren't more aggressive for 1 more starter? I know they got Imanaga. He's been fired. But I felt like they had room to make one more move, and this is essentially a pillow contract for Monty.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is, you look at a guy like Ben Brown. His upside is incredible. We've seen in these last two starts of his potential and what he could be for this team. You mentioned Cade Horton. He's a guy that if he keeps trending the way he's going, he could be a guy that debuts later this summer. So they like the young talent that they have coming up, and they like keeping some of that flexibility for guys to establish themselves, have an opportunity to seize some of those roles that can open up over the course of a season. And ultimately, when they decided how they were allocating their resources, they felt putting most of that towards Cody Bellinger was the route to go. And even, they spent on Hector Neris to try and address the back end of the bullpen. I fully expect them, if they stay in it, that they're going to make the trades they need to leading up to the deadline, and that'll end up, pushing them over the luxury tax threshold anyways. But right now, they're keeping some flexibility in what they can do. But, I'm sure Cubs fans agree with you and would love to have seen them sign Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, I was talking with Scott about this just a little bit ago. Do you see this team as a playoff team? I mean, the NL Central's kind of wide open a little bit. Reds have some injuries. Cardinals are doing okay. Like, do you see this Cubs team taking off and not even making the playoffs and making a push for the Central?
I do, in part because, what they've shown so far, given some of those injuries, given the tough schedule, the offense has shown what they're capable of when they get rolling. Obviously, Michael Busch carried them at the beginning of this road trip, and they're going to need more collectively from the offense. But Ian Happ finally had a big game last night. Nico Horner's looked better the last couple of games. Cody is getting barreled balls and starting to come into his form. And so I think offensively there's a lot of potential there. Obviously, it's going to take a hit with Seiya Suzuki out. You're not going to. Craig Counsell said it best. You're not going to replace that type of player with one guy. So they're going to need more guys to step up. I really think, if they can get to mid-May in a good position where they're hovering at 500 or a game or two above, as not exciting as that might sound, I think that really does position them well. Shota Imanaga has looked incredible. Again, you have the upside of a guy like Ben Brown. You should have Justin Steele back by that point. So I think they have the pieces to win the division, and it's going to come down to, can their veteran guys perform like they need to perform, and do the guys that they came into the season thinking that there was going to be upside, can one or two of those guys really pop and be a big factor for them into the summer?
Okay, so their third largest expenditure in the offseason was Craig Counsell. Has my former manager made his mark yet on the Cubs, or are Cubs fans sitting here going, what the heck? We could have put that money into something else. Where's this Counsell flair that we have been getting beaten down with in the last 7 years from Milwaukee?
If you pulled them based on the last two games, I'm going to guess they're not going to be thrilled and wish that money had been spent on some more experienced bullpen arms. But I think given some of the challenges that they have had, and to be fair too, he's still learning this team. You talked about that in spring. He's still learning his pitchers and what some of those signs might be of, hey, maybe the eye test isn't matching up with what the stuff is showing. Maybe I need to go to the bullpen sooner. So he's still learning his team, but I do think there is payoff in just how he's used guys, how he has set up the lineup. He's been using Ian Happ in the leadoff spot, which I know the results haven't fully been there, but it's the type of profile of a guy that, they didn't use in that spot very often last year. Seiya Suzuki had been hitting the 2 spot, which was really setting up everything well. I think generally he's been pulling the right levers with guys of when to utilize them. And, I think he has a pretty good pulse on the team. And again, this is a pretty veteran group. At some point, guys have to step up and perform. It can't all be on the manager or the front office. But I think the early results are that the team really responds well to him. He made efforts in spring training, holding 10-minute Q&A sessions before spring home games so guys could get to know each other better and share their stories. And that really resonated a lot with the group. He gave them a lot of individuality in spring training, both with drill work and, just their own daily routines and wanting to set them up for success. So I think the foundation is there. There's obviously still a learning process on both sides, but I think Cubs fans should be happy with who's leading them in the dugout.
Megan, I know this is already a story locally. It becomes a story nationally if there's another problem in an outing or two. Adbert Alzolay, I've followed him for years. I really like him as a pitcher on the mound. I always thought that he had, high leverage reliever stuff. Does he have the right game plan right now? Like, you look at the at-bat against Ketel Marte, and I think it was a cutter slider kind of deal on the first pitch that caught a lot of plate. And then the next pitch was in a similar location and registered as a slider, a backdoor slider that Ketel Marte smashed and got enough of it over the wall. I was listening to the broadcast. They said he's been kind of slider heavy in the zone, and especially left-handed hitters are slugging against it right now. So is this a game plan thing? Is the stuff down? What are you hearing about and seeing that looks different from last year? Because he's already got the same number of blown saves as he did a year ago.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I asked Craig Counsell about that pregame today about, does he have some concern given his history of struggles against lefties? And, Counsell cited small sample size, which obviously that's part of the season that you're in right now. But yeah, like the slider is so important to Alzolay's success. And when he's not locating it well, or he's not throwing it well for chase out of the zone, you're going to have situations where he's given up 3 home runs already on that pitch this year. And that's, as you noted, not characteristic of what he showed last season. And so I think part of it is like, one of those rough stretches that sometimes relievers go through. I do think there is an element of being too much in the zone. He has good enough stuff with his fastball slider combination where he should be getting more chase than he is right now. And I think that's leading to some problems where there's just too much stuff in zone. Guys are getting good looks at it. And, I think he obviously felt frustrated given that homer came with 2 outs in the 9th. And, that's obviously something you don't need in a closer position. And so they definitely need to get him right, because when you look at the bullpen as a whole, they don't necessarily have, a ton of experience right now in the back end with Julian Merriweather injured. Hector Neris is still trying to get on track. Mark Leiter Jr. has been lights out, but, he's considered now one of those more veteran arms out there, and they're really going to need him to find those adjustments, and especially with his slider, be able to better neutralize lefties.
Megan, last one. I'm going to crowdsource questions from our fans here. 2 players. 1, Christopher Morel, defense, and 2, Michael Busch, bat, to give us a grade and kind of expectations moving forward. On the Busch side of things, obviously he's been great. I know there's been some bats in the past. I think Wisdom was one of them that had like a really hot start to his Cubs career. So there's like a little bit of hesitancy. They're like, is this real, or is there not enough of a book on this player yet?
I mean, I think for Michael Busch, it's real because of the way he's done it. It's come through his approach. So all 6 of his home runs this year have come with 2 strikes. He's very comfortable hitting in 2-strike counts. In those at bats when he is hitting with 2 strikes, he has a 275, 370, 750 slash line so far this season, which again, small sample size. But when they acquired him from the Dodgers, that is something that hitting coach Dustin Kelly, who first came across him in the Dodgers organization, raved about when he joined the Cubs, is that, he knows what to look for. He doesn't overextend himself. He doesn't try to do too much. And that his bat path, when he makes contact, I mean, it just sounds different coming off his bat. I mean, he hits the ball hard. And so, in that sense, like the way he approaches each at bat is a total package. And that kind of is what makes them confident. Something that Craig Counsell talked about today is that the peaks and valleys will not be so severe, that he brings a consistency that even when he does get into a slump, whenever that happens, that he will be able to get out of it, that he's capable of drawing walks and working counts, even if things don't go his way. And that's obviously so valuable, especially as a lefty slugger. Having that type of bat in the Cubs lineup is huge.
Meghan, really great analysis. Awesome to have you on here for the first time. Hope you enjoyed it, and everyone check out her work in the Chicago Tribune. Thank you so much, and enjoy the game later.
Yep, thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you. Little Cubs talk today. Yeah, just getting to a couple actually big market teams that we haven't talked a lot about. I know we hadn't talked about the Rays much, so we cover that with Tricia, but also Mets, Cubs playing pretty good ball. Let's hit hot corner. Ready to sizzle?
Cubs aren't Cubs aren't a big market team. They're really close to a luxury tax. I mean, that's scary for the Cubs. That's scary land. That's like things that go bump in the night. Luxury tax threshold.
Salary cap. That is rough, though.
Don't say that.
You can't tell me that the Cubs couldn't outbid the D-backs for Jordan Montgomery. Is that not a perfect fit for that rotation to get that? I mean, and that signing, sooner. I get it. You had to wait and get the price down. That's what the teams did. But then still, when we got to the end, I'm like, this is all that is being thrown his way. If everyone's waiting him out, there's still only one team's going to sign him. I just was shocked that the Cubs weren't interested in this guy. Shocked.
Maybe Reggie told the Cubs, we don't play that. What did he say? We don't play that, or we don't.
Yeah,
what was it?
That was about Snell, but yeah, same concept. He was like,
homie don't play that. No. we don't play that here.
We don't play that game here. Yeah, that's what he said.
All right, let's stay hot. I'm hungry. We got to get lunch here after this.
No doubt.
Again, props to BetMGM Sportsbook here at the Banks. We're in Cincinnati. Todd, Father, and me today and tomorrow, 1 to 3 Eastern for the show. Friday, we'll be on the field, and we'll do some things here at the book afterwards. All right, let's start with the new owner of the Baltimore Orioles. David Rubenstein has been putting out these cryptic tweets about a desk on the field, and the desk is placed at shortstop. Now, I will spin this forward. I think there was another one where Cal Ripken was sitting at the desk, and they're like, he's always working. There's been tons of replies. I'm not in Baltimore, and I don't know if there's some inside joke or something I'm missing, but people kept replying because he's put out like 3 or 4 tweets like this. They're like, is this a Gunnar Henderson extension? Little cryptic tweet. But then he put the Cal thing out there, so I don't know. I'm confused. I will say I do love that he's getting involved on social and with the fans.
Agreed.
He's playing the Stevie Cohen game right now.
He's thinking about a player on his team, like the team, the players. Like, that's pretty cool. It's like, all right, if I was a second baseman, which you know who is, Gunnar is, and
shortstop.
Excuse me, I apologize. Whatever he's doing at second base, like if I'm a second baseman, maybe he's thinking about me and trying to get an extension or something along those sorts. So he's trying to be funny too as well. A little wittiness there, something. Some players might be like, oh, this is a little too much, but I think this is hysterical.
I mean, an owner engaging with fans, mind-blowing. We might be going in a crazy direction where there's connection. I love every second of this, no matter if it's some like weird, rich, like tweet that I don't even understand cryptically, or if it's just his personality. The dude bought beers for everybody after he bought the team in a bar in Baltimore. Like, connection with the fans is what grows the game. Yes, it will grow your team and connection to the fans if you extend Gunnar Henderson. I get that. But you have to connect with the fans. Hey, we couldn't get it done with Gunnar. We tried. On to the next. Like, just be communicated. And that's what they did there. So I love it.
I agree. The only thing someone pointed out was, don't let this be an ad, like an office supplies ad or something like that. Don't troll us like that.
Free publicity.
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't totally understand what they're going for there, but I'm here for it, and I enjoy the content. So keep that up.
Agreed.
Let's get to a feel-good story. Daniel Banuelos is a taxi squad catcher who's activated late yesterday when Tyler Wells. What did I say?
David Banuelos.
What did I say?
I thought you said Daniel.
Oh, okay, David, might be. But he was on deck in the bottom of the 8th, about to make his debut. Andy Koska with the tweet for us and said he may well get optioned tomorrow to make room for a pitcher, but tonight he's a big leaguer. Cool to see.
Can always say that for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Kratz, did you shed a tear?
Oh, so excited for a guy like this. Guy that sat around in the minor leagues, had a good season last year in AAA. Right spot, right time. And Andy, what's his last name? Andy
Koska. He's been on the show.
Koska,
he covers the Orioles.
Andy, you're not making roster moves. Maybe he looked good in his at-bat. Don't make a roster move. Don't tell nobody he's getting sent down. Maybe they forget about him. Before you know it, 2 months, the dude's been active. Don't tell nobody. He doesn't need to get sent down. They don't need a replacement yet. This dude gets his opportunity. I remember a guy with the Pirates. He was in Bradenton. That was their high A at the time. Now I think Bradenton's low A, but that was their high A at the time. They had a catcher go down, and it was 3 hours before the game, 4 hours before the game. He was the closest catcher in the organization, and they rushed him down to Miami. And I think Rodriguez, was it J-Rod that gave him his at bat? Somebody gave him the at bat. Maybe it was Harrison. Maybe Harrison gave him his at bat, and he was never back up in the big leagues. But what an awesome story that is! If David never gets back to the big leagues, he will forever be number 23,361, and that means something.
And the biggest thing you forgot about that whole thing, he gets health insurance for a full year now too, as well. Some of the best health insurance out there. So that
even if just you get a day,
you get 1 day in the show, you are getting the best health insurance. So say he's married. I don't know much about the guy. His wife's pregnant. That's all taken care of. Like, this stuff is huge getting to the big league. So he's got until opening day next year to have all that,
all that coverage,
go to the
baby.
dentist.
Yeah.
Get your eyes checked. Your kids' eyes checked. Get the whole spiel. So that's a really big moment for him. So even if he goes back down for the rest of the year, he's fine.
Yep.
Congratulations.
And he made contact. Fly out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's great.
Love it. I love it.
Love it.
Get your wife pregnant if you're married.
Now.
Did you guys see
next year
this little Reddit thing in the MLB Reddit page? It was pretty funny. I was chilling at the airport because I had connecting flights, and
oh god,
I just was scrolling through Reddit for a sec, and it was just a brilliantly put together little fake pic, but kind of real, from a fan. Angel Hernandez has really dominated the headlines over the past week. There are some really good combos that we've had with people about him. Papelbon, Ken Rosenthal yesterday. If you want to check out that clip at some point on our YouTube, or the podcast came out this morning. It's just someone's phone with many missed calls.
You gotta go through the process, because you have to write out Angel Hernandez on it and have somebody call you on a pretending.
So
that's what it looks like when Kratz calls me.
missed call.
Answer his call.
So for the podcast crowd, somebody put together a little screenshot from their phone of missed calls from Angel Hernandez.
Loser. I thought this was funny.
That was good.
He's missed a lot of calls. But they love him though. People love him though.
Who's people? Love him.
That certain group.
And by the way, I don't know.
Polarizing.
Yeah, he's polarizing, so he gets attention. But he's polarizing in the way that we used to not have instant replay in baseball, and you'd have Todd Helton at first base 9 feet off the bag, faking that he's on the bag, and it was like,
who made that call? Who made that call though?
I don't remember, but you do.
Exactly.
Clearly.
You don't remember. Angel Hernandez is
why does
polarizing.
That matter?
Because everybody just
watch baseball for the umpires, Kratz?
Oh, God.
Am I what?
I don't believe all the umpires.
Do you watch ball for the umpires?
I do.
No, you don't. Stop
You're
it.
watching.
I'm telling you, people are complaining because it devalues the product on the field. It's that egregious. That's why this is a
People
story.
are
We're not
paying
just doing it to
attention.
do it.
People are paying attention. When Angel Hernandez is back there, there will be a tweet that will filter more views into that game. I'm telling you, it's polarizing, negative or not negative. It is polarizing. Think of the worst calls in history. Can you name the umpires? And can you name a second call?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Jim Joyce, first base.
Jim Joyce, perfect game.
Andres Galarraga, perfect game bid.
Yep.
I don't remember the guy's name with the Kansas City
you don't?
Royals.
This is my point.
All right, every
It's
umpire
polarizing.
messed me up. It is.
So basically, what
end of the
Kratz is
season-
saying is we need to point out the good umps and give them
Yes.
attention and love. I knew there was
Yes.
some Kratzism
Yes.
to this at the end, or we just have robots handle everything and say Cyborg A nailed it today. He never misses.
I think that will be cool.
Excuse me, I said
That will
Andres
be cool.
Galarraga. It was Armando Galarraga.
No, I said Andres,
Oh,
didn't I? Or
I might have said it
either
too.
way. Armando. Yeah, it was me.
Yeah,
Andres was
trying
good
to help
though.
you.
Thank
That's
you. Thank you.
He
I
had
need
some
top
dingers.
father right here.
The big cat. The big cat.
Did I say this, Kratz? Did I say this yesterday when we were on with Ken, or did I run out of time? Oh no, I did say it. The reason that umps love him is because he takes the attention away from them.
True.
I'm telling you, that's real. That is real. They're like, oh, I had a bad day, but everyone's just going to talk about Angel Hernandez, so I'm good. You know, you're not the worst student in class. Like, if you're not a great student, but there's just an absolute clown in the back, and he's flunking out, and he's taking all the attention away, you could throw something at the teacher, and they're still going to think that it was the clown, even if he was sleeping.
Agreed.
I had an umpire yesterday. I was not arguing. I was just questioning
Come
a call
on.
that he made.
No. Let's hear it. I love these. Come
And
on.
he goes, no, he just goes, well, you know, I don't know if I got that call right or wrong. He said, just as long as you don't call me Angel Hernandez.
Oh, God, that was
The ump said that?
That's what he said to me. So I'm telling you, it's polarizing. It's polarizing for the sport, whether you think it's good or not. It is. This is what we have. Ed Hockley. Is it Hockley or whatever the?
You got it.
You're right.
You got it right.
You're right.
He was polarizing. People wanted to see him go, you know, with all stiff elbow, like first down, and then see his Scotty Braun biceps.
Yeah, but he was known for something else, right? Like, were people criticizing his calls?
No, but he's going to have a criticized call.
Criticizing
Angel Hernandez,
shirts.
at the end of the year, I'm going to put out a tweet with all the umpires' scores. I will take he will not be the top 5 worst calls umpire on balls and strikes. I know this is going to blow your mind. He won't be top 5 worst.
Okay, but that's not my point. Like, pointing out that he's not the worst in terms of consistency is different from how egregious his misses are. Will he have the worst call of the year in terms of a ball or a strike against the width of the plate? Yes or no?
Yeah, because he already broke the record.
Yeah, so
But that's one
That's what
pitch.
I'm
That's
saying.
one mistake. So will Scotty Braun have the one time that he's going to call Armando Galarraga, Andres Galarraga? Oh, I can't believe it. Scotty always does that. He's known for screwing up names. No, everybody makes mistakes. My thing is, let's not just only put it on Angel Hernandez. Let's solve the problem of making Angel Hernandez more consistent by giving them the option. Hey, you know what? Sorry, Angel. You got options. You have another week of calls like you did. You got 3 more plate jobs this week. And if you do like you did this last month, which we were evaluating you, you're going to the bushes. Just like Andy said, David Banuelos is going to the bushes. Like, let's talk about other people at the highest level getting sent down to AAA.
no, I disagree. I agree with the demoting. I agree with demoting. My point is,
no accountability.
He's saying my slip up of Galarraga to another baseball player name is the same as Angel Hernandez blowing a call by 6.5 inches. Wait.
No.
The comp is if you suddenly just answered every question we asked you on today's show with analysis on the NBA. We'd be like, dude, Kratz is so far off on his answers. He's not even talking about the same sport. He is devaluing the show. That's where I think it's so egregious, because that's the stuff that goes viral that says, we know that's not a real call.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that he looked at the plate and said, yep, that's a strike. There's no way. And that's where I think he's trolling. He's obviously picking on a rookie. That stuff's got to stop. That's my claim on why it's too egregious. It's too much.
And guess what? We talked about him for about 8 minutes now. So you're
Again,
right. You're right.
He
Kratz.
dominated again.
Kratz, you're right.
We can't get away from this right now. It is a big story, though, because to me it's hitting a line with fans, with reporters. Even what Ken said yesterday got picked up by some national publications. I saw something in Awful announcing this morning where they were bringing up what Ken talked about with Angel. So it's a thing, and it starts to bring up the robo conversation and all of that. All right, let's have some fun.
That phone was actually Todd's phone too, by the way. Angel and Todd are buddies, so he was calling him
pick up
to
the
tell
phone
him
one time.
Yeah, one time.
He wanted to say sorry. He rung you up one time, and he
Stop it.
he wanted to apologize.
No, he never rang me up. It was Kratz. Every time Kratz was behind the plate, I'd get rung up because this dude buttered up every umpire that was behind the plate.
He does it on the show every day. He's a legend.
Oh,
all right.
Let's see what we got.
Ready for a little batting stance action?
This
We're
is
going to
what
do
I
this
wanna
every
do the
single
whole day.
Wednesday.
Let's go.
Todd, Father, help us out. Let's start.
Brandon Moss.
Why do you always say that?
Man, that's so unique too. It should be easy.
The skip. Oh, man.
Yeah, a little side shuffle, like just a light.
That's a good like.
I
Is it
can't even
Garrett
give
Stubbs?
you a name.
I don't know that he has a leg kick like that.
That'd be wild if it was Stubbs.
I don't have the slightest clue.
James
Okay,
Outman.
well, we need a guess. Just say something.
Outman.
Okay,
Who?
just write it in so that we can at least get some clues
James Outman.
going here. FT fam in the chat, feel free to help.
He's American.
Shane said he's American. Shane said go Ian Happ.
I like Bryce Terang as my next question, but I think he
What are
more
the clues?
hangs
'Cause
than
I can't see.
Oh. It's the guy from the Rangers.
It's
No, it's National League. It's National League, not the West. Put in Bryce Terang.
I thought we were going to do good here today, too.
no, we're struggling. What are the clues,
mean,
though?
I can't see what that age is. Is that 20?
Same age, so he's 24.
Oh, I didn't even see that. He's an outfielder.
NL
He's an
East.
American ball player.
NL East.
NL East.
USA.
NL East.
I don't see anybody on the Mets there. Braves. Oh, this stinks. I'm pissed now.
You guys lost your touch. We're struggling right now.
I hope it's
Marlins. Like, I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
Nationals?
go Luis Arise, just because I know a lefty on the Marlins. Make sure it's not the Marlins.
Yeah, it's definitely not him.
No, yeah, I wouldn't say it's him. Tag on it. Oh yeah, an American. I always forget.
Oh, somebody screamed Bryson
Someone yelled
Stott.
out Stott. It's not McNeil, is it?
No. You can't see the bat underneath his hands, so I don't think it's McNeil. I don't have Bryson Stott.
I got some guesses from the crowd.
He's an outfielder.
In the chat. One guess from the chat was Jesse Winker, since he's on the Nats.
Oh, go chat, go. He's been banging right now, too, by the way.
Type it in there. Jesse Winker.
He is off to a nice start.
Winker's a tough name.
Yeah, having a tough
Did
time.
we get any other clues?
It didn't go in yet.
Nope. I give up.
There's a guess for Jazz in the chat, and someone yelled out Bryson Stott. Marsh. Let's just list every lefty bat in the NL.
No, it's an outfielder. It's an outfielder.
Every lefty outfield bat in the NL
Well,
East.
Did Jesse Winker not go in, or we can't type in Jesse Winker?
It doesn't register, so
how about Jazz?
It ain't him.
Yeah, got to go Jazz. He's playing outfield.
Put Jazz Chisholm.
Dang it. I can't believe we got stumped on the first one.
Yeah, that's sad. Man.
All right, so we should have quit after that first game when you
No,
guys got first.
It's got to be Winker because it's not the Marlins. It's not the. Oh, I guess we didn't.
No,
that.
Someone brought up a great point. They're like, Winker is not 24.
It's true.
Oh, the age. Dang it.
Yeah.
Let's just give
24-year-old outfielder in the NL East.
Can you show us who it is?
Yeah, can we give up?
Kelnick? Is it Kelnick?
Oh, you're right, dude. I think it's Kelnick. Attaboy.
Damn it, Christmas. I'm so embarrassed.
Couldn't get
it? Come on. Figure it out, Todd.
All right, here we go. Let's go.
Right,
next one.
2 more. Who's next?
Totally ruined this game. Oh, that's easy.
Alvarez, right, from the Astros?
Your Don. That's your Don hitting a your bomb.
That's Kratz's boo.
Yeah. This is my MVP candidate.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's not who I chose, but I wanted to choose him.
Yeah. You can't go DH primary position.
One more time.
MVPs too frequently.
Oh, is that
what a hang.
Hold on.
It's not Justin Turner, is it?
No, is that Suzuki? Who is that?
Seiya?
Is that him?
Or no, Kim.
Yes, it's Kim.
Kim from the Ha-Sung Kim from the Padres.
Oh, let's
I
go.
love that green. Love that green. Love that green.
Wow.
Give me that green.
Good job, Kratz.
Dominant.
Man, so
Dominant
mad about the Kelnick
rebound.
one. We didn't get the
I know,
Kelnick
but
one.
the next 2 were so nice. All right, one more.
We're back.
Oh, we got one more?
Oh, need it. Ooh.
Oh.
That was waffled, by the way. It almost looks like he swung and missed at it.
That's ugly.
It's not ugly. Man, that finish is so...
Almost stepping in the bucket. I don't have the slightest clue.
Let's go... It almost looks like a switch hitter. Brian Reynolds.
I'm not mad at that.
Or Jonah Heim, depending on what Brian Reynolds gives us. Nothing. Gives us nothing. Give me Jonah Heim right-handed.
H-I-E or H-E-I?
H-E-I.
He's in the West and he's a catcher. Is it Langerhans? I mean,
Langoliers?
Langoliers? No, I think it's Langoliers. I think it was the homer he hit against Leclerc in the ninth inning. His third homer. No.
Mm-mm. Any other
AL
clues?
West catcher. Let's see. Who else is there? Logan O'Hoppe. He's got a flat swing. Logan O'Hoppe's got a...
Could be. Jersey's finest.
That's right. Jersey or Long Island? He's Long Island.
Don't yell
Long
at me.
Island. Okay.
We're going to have monsoon
Let it go.
next week. This
Who
never
else
happened.
we got? It's not Heim.
We're running out of catchers.
Einier Diaz.
Could be.
Yana. Who, by the way, rakes.
Nailed it.
Mm.
There you go. Yeah, who does? He is off to a start.
He's off to the start of a career. Check out that baseball reference page.
Whew.
Nailed it.
That was fun, though. I like
That was
doing
fun.
this.
That was good.
It's a fun
All right,
game.
let's get into some picks for tonight. BetMGM Locks. Let's get to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so first off, go ahead, Kratz. It's time. Tell everyone what you watched last night and what happened.
Come on. Watch the Braves Astros absolute pillow fight against each other. The first run of the game was, I thought, a double, but maybe we'll talk about it another day. It hit the top of the fence and bounced back into play, but it was on the Crawford boxes. So we had a 1-0 game when we're hoping to just get 8 runs. I thought the Braves were going to win because the Astros didn't hit anything hard. And then the 9th inning Braves show up, and they punch 4 tickets for us. They go 4 runs, and then the Astros are like, yeah, we'll cover for the boys.
Yeah.
FT fam cashed plus 240 with 6 runs. 6 runs in the 9th inning. Thank you very much.
That was lucky, man.
That
No,
was
it wasn't. That was skill.
That was skill. Knowing that they're a great 9th inning team.
The only thing I apologize for is that Kratz and I thought that the final score was going to be 7-1. We said it on this show.
Yep.
We also have text receipts.
It was 6-1 at the time.
Right. We needed
It
that
was.
extra little pop. Because we were worried. We bought the runs down to get to 8 for this very reason. So thank you, 9th inning. That was awesome. And Pap still won. One game got postponed, so his little pick just got reduced. So he won a little bit
His
less,
winnings.
but that's how the parlay works. Money bags. Whew. You and AJ have work to do. You're a small sample size, so you can pick it up. You want to lead off?
I just bet a lot. That's my problem.
You do.
No, you're good.
Excuse
Yeah,
me.
you'll pick it up.
Yankees are struggling a little bit. I'm going with the Yankees today. Marcus Stroman on the bump. Money line at minus 105. Yankees to win. 315 to win 300. Come on, Yanks. Let's go, Bombers. Let's
They had a
go.
rough series just now.
Time to score some runs. Yeah.
Where's Judgy at?
I don't know.
He doesn't know.
But he's starting slow right now, so we'll see. He'll be fine.
Yeah, that is. Do not be concerned.
It's like Kratzy in Little League. We're not concerned. The guy's bigger than most dads at 12 years old.
I was not. I would have been drafted if I was that big. Okay, I would have been drafted.
There was an underrated line real quick that you would have loved the other day when we were talking about Jerks and Profar from the weekend going up against Will Smith with Smith calling him Mr. Irrelevant basically, and then he had the big knock the next day. And he was pissed because I guess, maybe he thought they were throwing at him or a little too inside.
Whatever.
And AJ said sometimes guys would say that to him when he was playing, and he would go, dude, we weren't throwing at you. You're an out. We're not trying to hit you.
AJ.
It's a good line.
That's funny.
All right, Kratz, stay hot.
Well, there's some strikeouts. You know how much I love the strikeouts. And we're going a little same-game parlay strikeout. Zach Littell versus Reed Detmers. Reed Detmers has gone 7, 12, and 7 punch-outs. And all Reed has to do is get to 5.5 today against a Rays team who is middle of the pack in strikeouts. They strike out a decent amount. I also need Zach Littell to get to 5 strikeouts. He has done it. He's gone 4, 5, and 6 on lower pitch counts, and his pitch count's supposed to be all the way up to 100 today. So Zach Littell over 4.5, Reed Detmers over 4.5, and I think it's coming out at plus 176. I did not write that part down.
175.
But 170. Betting a hunch.
Okay, nice. I'll lay down 120 to win 100 on Cleveland, Boston over 8.5 runs. I thought it would be higher.
Okay.
The pitching matchup is Ben Lively against Tanner Houck. Both teams used every reliever and their reliever's family yesterday in that barn burner. So I like some beat-up bullpens and maybe a manager trying to extend a starter that shouldn't be extending. These are guys that don't go deep into their outings. So I think both offenses have been a little better than expected, especially Cleveland. They're scoring more than I thought they would. I thought their offense was going to be terrible, and their offense has been fine so far. So I'll take an 8.5 there. I feel like I could get a no-sweat bet out of that. So we'll see what happens. The bonus code to use is FOUL, F-O-U-L, if you are a new user on the BetMGM Sportsbook app or at BetMGM.com. Sign up and deposit at least $10 into your account. Place your first wager and receive $1,500 back in bonus bets if the bet loses. And if that happens, your bonus bets will be available once your initial wager is settled. Let's do a little slap. We got a little extended slap. We're giving something away.
Yeah, baby.
I like how Todd Father gives me the bat. We're in the area of whatever you want to call it, the neighborhood that Todd Father's home run derby built.
Yeah, baby, right across the street. Love this.
All right, so we have a bat and a baseball signed by the Cincinnati legend.
I'm going to sign
Todd
that
Father.
one.
This will get signed right after the show.
I have this one signed already.
Baseball will get signed here. We are going to give these away to fans that watch the show in person here at the Banks. So
yeah,
look out for this. We'll do this again tomorrow if you want to swing by and say hello. Yeah, there it is. Where are you going to sign it so I can point to where it'll be?
About right there.
Right there? Okay,
yep.
Perfect. So check that out. There you go. You know what to do with that. And we'll be on the field Friday. We're going to try and get some VIPs on the show. Trout and Ellie, look out. But appreciate the BetMGM Sportsbook for hosting us here at the Banks. We are steps away from Great American Ballpark. And we'll do the show again, 1 to 3 Eastern tomorrow. And then Great American Ballpark for Friday's show.
Come on out and enjoy a good time, man. Let's go.
Yeah. Go.
Meet the Todd Father.
Meet the Todd Father. Enjoy a brew if you're age eligible. And KratzHatz before we go.
Hurry up. USA.
USA
Very
baseball. Nice. For real. I got it from when I was at the Combine.
Oh, nice.
The first ever draft Combine, sponsored by Gatorade.
You get an extra grade letter for that for me because of the decal on the side. So I'll go B. B plus.
I'll give that an A all day.
Actually, the back actually helps too.
Yeah.
The flag.
I'll give it an A.
Scott's not patriotic. Todd is.
No.
Todd's patriotic.
I usually give
Scott's patriotic.
USA A plus.
Todd is a pre-mundial. He's a pre-mundial.
Yeah, Todd's got to go take some swings. We just gave him a bat, and he's
we got somebody out there waiting. I might
toss it
to him. I gotta wait.
Don't be like Kratz against that door that he shattered if you missed that story. Anyway, we'll see everyone on Thursday from the book.